Hi, and thank you for joining me on another episode of the Tech Exec Podcast, where I will help you create teams worth leading, because life's too short to lead mediocre teams. As always, I'm your host, Aviv Ben-Yosef, Tech Executive Coaching Consultant, and the subject today is no. Just that. No. If you're like most people I'm seeing nowadays, at the beginning of the year, everything feels fresh, and you're starting to pack on so many things that you'd like to do this year, right? And that's a good thing. That's actually something that I'm doing with a lot of my clients right now. We're talking about what they'd like to achieve in the year, in the quarter, etc. That's good and healthy. However, here's the twist. You do not need to overcommit. You must not, actually. Why? Because once we allow ourselves to put too many things on our plates, just like you see with OKRs for the company, if all the goals are stretch goals, you're going to say, hey, what gives? You're just going to stop your brain, even if you don't do it consciously. Your brain's going to shut down and start ignoring those goals because you will not be able to believe them. You will know deep down that it's not actually going to happen, all of them together, and therefore they will lose out on their potency of helping you reach those same goals. And therefore, you have to start with a good portion of no's. A lot of things that you just say no to. It can be no, never. It can also be no, not right now. But this is what prioritization is all about. You cannot tell yourself you will be able to do everything all together at the same time. That's just not possible. I don't care how many Cloud Code instances your team whips up. There's a limit to how effectively you can market those features. There's a limit to how effectively your product people can come up with valid things to do. And there's a limit to how fast you can actually make sure that whatever Claude wrote is not going to, explode and get you in GDPR prison or something like that. All of those things require some time. So even if you'd really like to move fast, this is your time to start with prioritization. And I will add, what's the worst case scenario? You'll do stuff much faster than you were hoping to. You just move on to the next ones. I'm saying that you have to say explicitly how many things you can manage at the same time. This is about if you've ever done Kanban, if you've ever done even some healthy Scrum, we talk about how much work in progress, WIP, you can have at any given point, your team can have. You, my friend, also need to have the same WIP considered for yourself personally. What are the things that you think you can actually move forward right now? How many can you put on your plate and manage? If you eat it all up, if you clean your plate, sure, go ahead, put another thing. I'm not saying you're going to have to be sitting idle till the end of the quarter, but I am saying at any given point, don't have too much. Don't be like those people who pile on everything from the buffet on their plate and then end up not eating essentially anything. No, start by deciding what's important and move forward. How are you going to be doing that? First of all, I want you to find those 1, 2, 3 tops, things that are musts, those things that you cannot envision the quarter going well without you actually taking care of them. Sometimes you see those and you tell yourself, okay, that's not all that much. I can manage something more. All right, if that's the case, add it. But I will again say, add it to your quarterly list, for example, but when we prioritize it, it will be after those must-haves, and preferably will only start being executed once those must-haves, at least one of them, is already done or is past the point of no return. It has gotten enough momentum. You are no longer the sole person having to push for it. You can see it getting there even without a lot of extra effort. And then, okay, it makes sense to start getting the ball rolling on another thing. Fine. But do not allow yourself to just, again, pile on too many things on your plate before you're ready for it. Because life is so busy and we always have to have enough margin. And this is something that a lot of my clients miss. You need to have margin. It doesn't matter if right now you have more space and think that you can manage it all. If you allocate 100% of your time and don't tell yourself right from the start that at least 20% of that are nice to haves, 20% of things that we know that are very likely to be pushed, you will not be able to manage when things happen, and things always happen. It doesn't have to be as dramatic as a worldwide pandemic, which we also know happens from time to time now, but it can be just things like, I don't know, industry changes. You want to be able to take some time to try something new. You want to ensure that your team can manage when regulation changes, when there's a new tool out, when something breaks, there's a major outage, one of your third parties becomes, I don't know, too expensive and you want to shift from it. Those things always happen, right? You end up having some of these no matter what you're going to be doing. And if you're going to pretend right now that it's not going to happen because right now, in this instant, they're not on your Jira, it doesn't mean that they're not going to get there, right? I mean, right now, I'm not planning for what I'm going to be doing when the sun sets, but I know it will set, right? Right now, it's up there. I can see it, but I know that it's at some point it's not going to be there and it's going to be evening. So I'm not going to pretend, okay, not, and be all surprised, but eventually, oh my God, it's evening today as well? It happens every day? No, right? I'm assuming we all know how that works. But you also have got to know how the real world works when it comes to your code, when it comes to your system, when it comes to your users. You're going to get some tickets, you're going to get some mistakes, you're going to see some things change, you're going to have someone take a leave, and you might end up hiring someone who's not the right fit. All of those things, not all of them, but some of those things will end up happening. And we have to have healthy margin to ensure that when those things happen, we're not at the brink. We're not going to just snap because it's going to be too much. And to do that, a healthy leader knows how to say no enough times to ensure that we have a healthy organization, an organization that can handle what's going to be thrown at it, an organization that can achieve those things that really matter. And one last addition, actually, I'm not saying that we need to be argumentative, that we need to be always saying no for the sake of saying no. Hell no. Okay, this is me saying no about the no. But I will say that sometimes these constraints are healthy. And I've got, I think, an article about it in the past where I've seen how I was able to allow product teams to move so fast that they ended up just adding, everything in the kitchen sink into the roadmap just because it was possible. But that didn't do good for the company. It just meant that they had a product that got so bloated so fast without even them getting to see what users think, because we were able to crank out features much faster than the business was moving. That was a waste of time. It means that product, we're not able to look at, what we're doing, what the clients are doing, and learn and tailor the product to their experience. They were just cranking out features and feeling like, okay, we're all doing well, but this was a lot of busy work for very little impact. I don't want you to get there. And therefore, you can and should say no. This is part of why you're an executive, why you're a senior leader. You should know when to say no. You should wield it with the responsibility that it entails, but doing so correctly means you just might have an amazing 2026, which is what I wish you. If you need any help with that, if you want to make sure that you're set up for success, my email's in the show notes, and I'm always happy to chat. Let me know to schedule a free diagnostic call. That's it for this week. I'll see you here next week. As always, if you haven't yet, do check out the show notes for a link to my newsletter. It's the best newsletter online for tech execs, where I talk every week about this podcast, a free weekly article, usually another video, and some other free goodies. So check it out, and I'll see you here next time. Bye.